Hello and welcome to another WFNY BrownsCast, brought to you by Evergreen Podcast Network and part of the Waiting for Next Year community. My name is Joe Gerberry, and tonight I'm joined by Taylor. I still will not say your last name. I know Jedrzak.
There you got it. You're good.
Yeah.
Score one.
Right. We did it. But yeah, so we are here for your BrownsCast this week, which is super fun, super what we want to be doing with our lives.
We're not on the injury report.
We're maybe the only ones not on the injury report, but as I'm literally like staring at it right now, just like good night. But yeah, we are here to recap last week's game, to look forward to this next one. Maybe we are not looking forward to it, but we are taking a look.
Looking forward is a strong
taking
phrasing.
a look forward to it. How about that? That's probably a more accurate phraseology of how it's going.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
I don't think anybody's looking forward to a Browns game at this point in time. But yeah, it was. You had brought up in our Discord this week of. I don't know that you said I don't know that I've seen it this mellow in the chat
Browns channel.
In the Browns channel, and I mentioned this game just sucked. It wasn't great. It wasn't good. Like no one enjoyed what happened, and there's no real way of like talking about it because the offensive line sucked. Everyone's hurt. There's no way for it to really. There's not an obvious way through at this point in time, and that's probably the best way to describe it. But yeah,
There's no.
How are you? How are you feeling?
I mean, I think I've avoided the Browns most of this week. I've taken a moratorium from listening to anything that the quarterback has to say in press conferences, and I think I'm better for it. Like you said, we watched all of last week's game, and there were aspects of the team, specifically the offense, that were so damn bad that there's not even a point to start like breaking it down and saying if we do this better, this fix. Like so many different things broke down in so many different ways at different times and on different plays. It wasn't a domino effect. It was a grenade going off in a forest. And the trees fell at different times.
Right. Yeah, I think Ben Axelrod tweeted out probably the best way of saying it. Like the O-line is struggling to get Watson time, and when Watson has time, he's not making throws, and when is making throws, the receivers aren't catching them, and like so you're down to a like if half the plays he has time, then you're looking at a quarter of those, like a half of those he's making throws, and then half of that you're like compounding down into this like effective plays are happening, an eighth of the time.
Well,
the
offensive EPA is what? Minus 0.2 something every play. So they're giving up a point. They're giving up a point every 5 plays.
Yeah. Cleveland Browns football, everybody. That's what
not what you want.
Yeah. So, and the defense is, getting ran through on Twitter because every fifth play that something goes well, and I say goes well because it's not even necessarily because of them. We're celebrating like it was a pick six in the Super Bowl, while you just gave up a 2 plays previous. You gave up a 20-yard crossing route to Wandale Robinson. And it's I said it in Discord. I understand why the defense does it, and I
I
fully
mean,
get the
they're
I fully
coached
get the
to,
reasoning
so
behind it. Right.
they're coached to. Like it's part of the defensive culture they built in the last. What are we on? 20 games now.
Right. And
21, 21 games.
and I'm for it. I do. I like the way that Schwartz has them coached up in that way. It is purely an optics situation that is making it look like, oh boy, oh boy, like
Yeah,
it's just
it's
real
one of
hard.
those. It's definitely like an old school football kind of. Why are you guys doing this? Go play the damn game and stop
Right.
dancing. Like I understand it, but one, that's really not how it works anymore, and two, this is what they're coached to do. So put it on Jim Schwartz, not Greg Newsom.
Right. It's a it is we've talked about how like winning cures all, and you can see that if there was a situation that like if they're winning, no one cares that they're rocking on air guitars every pass breakup, and if they're holding guys, if they're holding drive scoreless and playing well, this gets looked at with rose colored glasses on, not like, hey, knock it off. um so it is a little like it feels a little old manny to say, get off my lawn and stop celebrating every play, but also,
That's definitely the phrase I was looking for. It's a get off my lawn kind of take.
yeah.
But like I understand it too. Like when you're down 21-7 and you break up a pass in the third quarter, and Greg Newsom's doing the best thing I can call it is his Boondock Saints thing with Martin Emerson.
Right.
Like it can grind on you just a little bit, but it shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that it's Emerson who's
Been awful.
keeps getting torched, and and was so good last year, and we heard so much about Emerson Island, and there were so many good things that came out of last year in that way, but now we're just looking at it like, where's that guy at? Like, why are you who are you, and what did you do with the real Martin Emerson?
I mean, to be fair, everyone's kind of getting torched by Malik Neighbors right now. So like, okay,
Yes, I made the joke to you that in my group chat someone mentioned and said, like, how did Dallas let Neighbors get by? It's like, oh, you must not have watched the game on Sunday then, because it happened at least twice. 4
yeah, they just
touchdowns.
showed they just showed a replay on Amazon of him just making a Cowboys corner sit down on a stop and go, and he was open by like 15 yards. So like, it's not just him, and like, yeah, the touchdown, the two touchdowns were bad. The first one was in man coverage and he got burned. Second one was in zone coverage, so it was just kind of the perfect play and a well run route and a good throw. The interception that he got ripped away was rough, and that's not what you want from a cornerback that is billed as big strong guy.
Yeah, when he got mossed, on that play, that was a rough look for him. Who knows? We can hope for better. Um, Looking ahead, Oakland doesn't really have. They have Adams, obviously, who's been limited in practice this week when he has practiced,
They
and
got tight ends.
like I say, they have Brock Bowers, they have Michael Mayer, but Michael Mayer hasn't practiced at all week, um, with a personal issue, but it remains to be seen what exactly that will look like, and And Emerson's not out there to cover Brock Bowers. He's out there to help with the wide receivers.
Although he could cover Brock Bowers, it might not be a bad idea. Otherwise, you're going to lose Grant Delpit for most of the game.
Fair
to covering him and not being a box safety where he's really good. But yeah, I mean, when you come away from these games and you lose to teams that you're not supposed to, it's just it's hard to find positives because, you know, aside from Amari Cooper getting back to what we expect out of him, there was like no positives. The defense in the second half was fine. The play calling finally adjusted for the offense in the third quarter, which but fine, whatever.
It still really looks like a team, and I said this, I think, last week, and I will say it until it doesn't look like this way, but it truly looks like a team that, like, spent July and August at Ren Fair and not, you know, practicing for football. And, you know, it looks like...
Then I said that Myles Garrett would actually spend time at Ren Fair. I think he would do that.
He absolutely would. I would spend time at Ren Fair.
Well, yes.
I'd spend 2 months at Ren Fair. Let me get lost in the sauce at a place where I can pretend to, you know, be in medieval times. Absolutely.
Daily D&D stories.
That's the dream. That's the hope right there. But yeah, it's really hard to be excited about the team when, like, as we said, basically every part of the team has looked rough. The run game isn't there. The offensive line has been decimated by injury, and we don't know what will be of... Jack Conklin was coming back from the knee injury and then all of a sudden got a hamstring on Saturday. Jed Wills was out for a bit with a re-aggravation of his knee injury. Then now Wyatt Teller's on the IR, and so we're going to see Zach Zinter show up at right guard, and, you know, you had to have Bitonio move out to left tackle and Ethan Posick go over to left guard to finish out the game. You know, we're here where Joe Bitonio is being asked if what position he's going to play on Sunday. So it's really hard to be, like, looking for a game and preparing for it because you just don't know who's going to be out there. Luckily, the skill guys seem to be okay. You know, nobody in the wide receiver room's hurt. No one in the, you know, maybe Jerome Ford is on a he's possibly questionable, but even then, like, he hasn't been great, and the Foreman's looked better. So
Foreman only got 2 carries last week. Like, there's too many questions to have an answer. I think is the short way to put it. So I don't know. It certainly doesn't make you feel any better that the Browns are a underdog in Las Vegas to a team that just got boat raced by the Panthers.
Yeah, it doesn't inspire, you know, great feelings that the Red Rifle comes back for Carolina and, you know, makes Vegas now look
sad Oakland
silly.
Day.
Sad, yeah, it's a sad Oakland day. But yeah, it's not at all what you want out here as far as a betting game and everything. DraftKings had posted that the Browns originally started as favorites for this game.
Yeah, they were 1-point favorites.
I had never seen them actually be open as favorites, but
the only place I see it is ESPN lists the open stuff, and they said the Browns
Gotcha.
were a 1-point favorite to start. So I imagine most books kind of started around there. But the fact that ESPN has it at -2.5 for the Raiders now, so like a lot of money going towards the Raiders.
Yeah,
Doesn't make you feel great.
I don't see them being, I don't know. It's hard looking at Cleveland and seeing as how and why they should be favored, but also I don't see where Oakland's getting their bump from either. So who knows? All right, let's look at this game. Antonio Pierce, the head coach of the Raiders, was quoted as saying that he felt as though his team was making business decisions this last week.
Great sentiment for week 3.
And that they, quote, possibly, hopefully won't be making those same business decisions this week, which is, is that a threat? I don't know what that even means.
I mean, it definitely is a threat from the coach to not play guys. That is the implication. Certainly not something you want to hear out of your coach in week 3.
Right, your newly hired coach.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that team is kind of in flux. I think you have guys that you want to build around. You have guys like Devontae Adams who might be looking for the first plane out if he has a chance to, and your quarterback is like this era's consummate placeholder. So
Yeah, Gardner Minshew has made a lot of money being a stopgap.
yeah, he's Fitzmagic for a new generation.
He's not Chase Daniel levels of like bag securing, but he's pretty close.
The thing with Chase Daniel is he barely played any of that money. He just kind of stood there. Minshew's playing. He's being forced to play in so many of these situations.
Right.
And he's mostly fared pretty well. But he's not he's the guy he's the girl you date before you find the one. It's essentially what he's turned into.
But Pierce also said that there may be a quarterback change this week, so it remains to be seen whether or not we actually will see Minshew as opposed to Aiden O'Connell.
I'm not sure what that does for him, but okay.
I don't know how that's helpful for them.
It's like that. It's like that. The Alex Jones before and after picture. You're not doing a whole lot. Like,
did you just change your shirt, or
it's essentially what we're looking at in the difference between them. I mean, Aiden O'Connell was okay at the end of last season. Gardner Minshew is usually pretty okay. I'll be completely honest, I didn't watch the game last week, so I don't know if he was bad or anything. I would assume he was bad if they were down 33-6. But
you're generally not playing well if that's the case. But
no, when you're down 33-6 to the Panthers, something has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, looking at the injury report for both teams, Adams was limited, which I'm guessing is it. There was no designation for Wednesday and then limited today. He likely will play. A big missing spot was Max Crosby. Did not practice yesterday or today. If they're unable to get him, if they do not have him, that's a big help to the line that has struggled.
Yeah, so that's pretty much their defensive line is Max Crosby.
Right. So who really knows there? As far as on Cleveland's end, Joel Bitonio has been limited, which is fine. He's in the Myles Garrett, like, show up on Sunday and you're good.
We trust you.
Which, yes, just go. You're fine. Jack Conklin and Jed Wills both were DNPs on Wednesday and Thursday. Those are the bigger names of like DNPs. Jordan Hicks missed both practices as well. Our linebacker core is thin at best, and missing him for listed as ribs and elbow. So hopefully it's just a little bit of banging up and, taping up some ribs, getting a shot, not from Tyrod Taylor's doctor.
And I think that's Pro Football Doc on Twitter now, by the way. I think it's that guy.
That's the guy that almost killed Tyrod?
I think it is, yes.
Oh, fantastic. I'll have to go and follow him.
I think the one downside of us doing this on Thursday instead of Friday is we have so many guys now that are, well, we'll see what happens on Friday and then we'll have a better idea, because the last few weeks the Browns have had this like excruciatingly long injury list on Wednesday and Thursday, and then on Friday everyone either practices full or limited, and then they take away the injury designation for the game, and there's like 4 people that are on the injury designation between out, full, or questionable.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Myles Garrett was a DNP and then unlimited. His MRI came back clean, and all signs point to go. Another guy that came back to practice this week was David Njoku, listed as limited. The fact that he's out there at all after suffering a high ankle strain is pretty amazing. So, excited about that.
Yeah,
going forward.
Dude is tough. But we knew that.
Yeah, I mean, he nearly died in a fire, so it's at his own house.
The man had his face blown off.
Right. It looks fine. But yeah, so it'll be nice to have him back. As far as how to attack Las Vegas, you really, if Max Crosby is out, I think you have to try to attack the defensive line, whether that's designed runs with Watson or getting Ford out in space.
He's anti-designed run now.
Sure.
According to him, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I can't say yes or no to that because again, as you stated,
you've tuned it out.
Basically anything that he says, I just like, sure, that's fine. You say things.
Those are certainly words.
Those are words, and you are saying them.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're in a situation where they need to come to the stadium with more of a plan for getting blitzed to hell. Obviously, the Giants showed that was a massive weakness last week, and you can't have that be a weakness and let it keep being a weakness. You have to find a way around it.
Yeah, it is apparent that the offensive line is being overloaded with these blitzes, but it is on Watson to be able to identify the fact that they are happening and call out protections for them as they're happening. The fact that hasn't happened, that goes in the like dichotomy of chicken before the egg of, is it here or there or everywhere? So
everywhere is probably the answer here.
Everywhere seems to be the problem.
What was the title of that movie? Anything and Everywhere All at Once, or something like that.
I didn't see it, but yes, I think that's anything. I don't know if it's anything, but it's close to that. My TISM doesn't have that name memorized, and so I can't tell you.
I've not seen the movie, so I wouldn't be able to.
I haven't seen it either. I have heard it's really good. It won a lot of Oscars, so sure.
The title of the movie is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
There you go.
So yeah, Everything. That is the Browns' offense so far. Everything Everywhere All at Once is broken.
So, question that I have: it seemed as though the offense was doing well in week 2 against the Jaguars, when they were a more run-oriented game, trying to...
You mean like how this offense is built to work?
Right. And I don't want to put names on it because I feel as though that's leading the question. Is it a matter of getting back to the run and establishing it? Is it I guess I will put names on it. Do you think it's a Stefanski offense or a Dorsey offense that needs to get playing time, schemed out a little bit better?
I think it's not to dodge the question and be political. I think it's everything. Like, they don't have confidence that the run game is going to work because they don't have that much confidence in their running backs, because they don't have that much confidence in their line to open holes, and they don't have confidence in the quarterback to open up holes for the running back because play action isn't really working. And the quarterback can't find anything open downfield anyway when he has time, and he doesn't have time all that much, and he bails out of the pocket all the time. And then the running backs can't fix that because they can't back pressure off by running through it. Did I answer your question?
Somewhere in there is an answer, I believe.
I don't know if I just went off on a brilliant tangent or if I just said words.
You had a Michael Scott. Sometimes I start a sentence and I don't really know what I'm going to say. Yeah, I'm with you. I like I said, I don't want to have names on it of like, this is the better offense, this is the one that they need to run. But this is a team that has been built to be road graders and, attack at the point of attack and push the D line back and run screens and things like that. Watson is not that quarterback. He is not a drop back guy, which is why when last year there was other quarterbacks that are on other teams currently that are not going to be acquired, that did well
people need to go stop with that one too.
Yes.
It's dead and gone, guys.
Anyway, when other quarterbacks came in and did well, it was because their style of play fit with what Stefanski already had in the bucket. Because you can always go back to that. It's the same kind of thing of like, we talk about Pittsburgh doesn't want to commit to Justin Fields because Russell Wilson hasn't been healthy. And they wanted Russell Wilson to start the season because you can always go to Fields if it doesn't work. If Fields doesn't work, it's much harder to say, let's try Russ if everyone's healthy. In the same regard, if the offense for Watson is working, they can always go back to a drop back offense with a quarterback like Flacco, with a quarterback like Jameis, and have that work in theory. But I think the ceiling is better for a Watson style, a Dorsey style offense. Whether or not Watson has that in him, though, is the problem, I think. And I think the offense is just, I think with injuries, you're already asking Batonio to play left tackle. You're already asking Posick to play left guard. Like, let's not try to like also run RPO.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many issues here that, again, you can't put 100% of the blame on what the quarterback is doing because so much else is screwed up. And I don't think I can even blame the coaching for it because so much is screwed up and we don't know how much the quarterback is screwing up himself. And they don't seem to be ready and keen to admit that in press conferences if he's screwing things up. They seem pretty non-committal about, we're not getting into that press conferences this week. Oh boy. There's just, it's hard to place blame because so many things aren't working.
Right.
Well, sure, we can give Watson a plurality of the blame, but a plurality might be like 22% because so many things are broken.
Yeah. It's just incredibly hard to look at anything that's happening right now and say, this is the reason. Because, again, there are so many things that could be the reason.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty clear a couple years ago when we got towards the end of the season, Joe Woods not adjusting his defense any point ever is definitely the problem here. There is talent. We are not utilizing it. We are having Denzel Ward run drop zone.
Right.
Bad.
Yeah, you spent years drafting, man coverage corners to have them play zone. Those are issues. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm there. I agree. We're in that spot, and it's just really hard to say, like, they really need to take advantage of this early situation that they have with the schedule, and they haven't.
They already
thus
threw
far.
away one of them. They already threw away one of them.
Yeah.
Jaguars might be one of the worst teams in football. So, yeah, they got one. The Giants might be a bottom 8 team in football. They didn't get that one.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy hard to win in the NFL, and Cleveland doesn't seem to want to make it any easier for themselves.
no.
So, with that, let's go to picks.
Yay!
I have nothing else to talk to you about this this game and this prepping here.
I have nothing more to say to you.
I have nothing more to say about what is happening.
Good day, sir. Let me pull up the picks. I should have probably had them pulled up already, but I did not. I failed. Okay. So, we are giving we're giving Matt the most benefit of the doubt possible. And we're going to call him out briefly here. He turned in his picks on Sunday night.
I was going to say,
scored the most points by 3. You get 1.
Yeah, I saw that he texted he messaged the picks in, and I was like, buddy, we already had the game, man. Like, I mean, I get, sure. Did you have
literally all the games were decided. The Bills and Jags were going on, the Bills and Jags were going on, but it was already 30-3. So that game was over. But yeah, he finished with 12 points last week and has taken the lead over you by 3.
Sure.
We'll go with it.
Listen,
yeah,
I've been a dad for a while now, and there are some times where you just gotta let them have a win, And if that's in me implying that Matt's my kid, it's not doing that.
But yeah, we all picked the Browns last week. That didn't go well. Gerbs, you got a point for picking the Giants to cover.
Yeah, I did.
You did do that. We all picked the under 39.5. That was a very low under, and we all hit it because neither of those teams could score. Matt was the only one that got a point for Deshaun Watson passing yards over under 198.5. He took the under. We all took the under for combined passing yards of 380.5. That hit the over. Watson was actually another good example of Vegas always wins this week. I think he finished with 196. So he was right there. Amari Cooper, over under receiving yards, 48.5. We all took the over. We all got it. Malik Neighbors, over under receiving yards, 65.5. You and Matt took the over. I took the under. You guys got the points. Giants total yards, over under 237.5. Matt took the under. He was wrong. We took the over. He was right. We were right. The Browns actually had less. The Browns hit the under. Embarrassing.
There's a lot of embarrassing in that game, as we've said.
Yeah, it might have just all been embarrassing. Texans, Vikings. We all took the Texans to win and covered. None of us got it right. What was the score of that game? Because I might have given someone a bonus point here.
It was Matt. We take it. We ripped that away from him.
No, he got it all wrong. He got it all wrong, so I'm going to take a point for myself because I picked the under, and we both picked the under. So, yeah, I had an even worse week. You took the over in that game, and you got it right. So,
yeah,
you were the only one to get a point from that game. Chargers, Steelers. You took Chargers over. So did I. We both lost. They only hit 30 points in that game. I think that was the lowest total of the week. Browns and Giants, I think, hit what, 31.
Dolphins Seahawks was also 27.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Pats and Jets were also 27.
Oh, those teams, they just didn't score.
Just proving you wrong in real time. Sorry.
You know what? I'm trying to read fast here, and you're messing with my flow. So Matt got all 3 points for that game, allegedly. Ravens, Cowboys. Me and you both picked the Ravens to win and cover. You took the under and got it wrong. I took the over and got it right. Matt got all 3. Jaguars, Bills. You and Matt took the Bills to win. He took the Bills to cover. They obviously covered. You picked Jacksonville to cover. You guys both picked the under. Definitely didn't hit that. The Bills hit the over themselves. I picked Jacksonville to win, and I feel really stupid.
We can't all be winners, you know?
So, after week 3, Matt has 33 points, you have 30, and I have 27.
Oof.
Fun times. So, we will start this week's picks with the other games. First up, we got Saints at Falcons. Atlanta is a 2.5-point favorite, and the over-under is 42.5.
So Saints come in just somehow they've had the most crazy offense, and then somehow Philly was the only team to keep them from doing it. I want to go Falcons, and then over 42.5 is a pretty healthy spread. But I mean, looking at it, they're saying 23-20 is the expected outcome.
Yeah, roughly. I'm trying to remember what the Falcons did last week. Nothing lost, but I'm trying to remember what they did. Oh yeah, they lost to the Chiefs. It was close. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Falcons as well. I got to make sure I'm on the right thing when I actually type these things in. I'll take Falcons to win and cover. Over 42.5. Yeah, that feels good. Okay. We have the Big 12 game of the week. Commanders versus Cardinals.
The over is 50, and I might take it. Because both these teams
cannot play defense.
Play defense. Cannot, will not. Can't stop, won't stop. That's basically what
the Commanders haven't punted since week 1. The Cardinals have Marvin Harrison Jr. against the Commanders defense that can't stop a soul.
It's legitimately such a weird stat that they have not punted since week 1.
They have as many games as they have punts, and all of those came in week 1.
God, that's so crazy. Yeah, I'm.
It's tough. It's in Arizona.
It is. It is in Arizona. I'm going to say Cardinals, Commanders over. Like a 33-31 win for Arizona, which is a feasible outcome of this game because again, neither team has any interest in trying to stop anyone.
This is going to be the game that makes Vegas all the money and finishes like 17-13.
Right.
Because so many people are going to hammer the over. I do wonder.
Well, the over is just a fun bet to have. And especially in a game where the over is so high.
Yeah. I'm curious as to what the over-under opened at. It's only moved a point. Started at 49.5 and moved to 50.5. So I guess no one really wants to bet a 50 in the NFL. In college, it happens all the time.
Right.
I'm gonna go Washington to win this game. I think.
Okay.
I think Jaden Daniels is just kind of the hot hand right now, and I'm gonna take the over because these defenses don't exist. Schrodinger's defense. Bills at Ravens. We got a Ravens 2.5-point favorite, despite the Bills being like all world right now. Over under 46.5.
Man, how did Baltimore come out as 2-point favorites in this? I mean,
because they're at home.
Because they're home. It's not 3 anymore. They don't do 3 you don't get a straight 3 anymore. It's more like a 1.5, maybe 2 points. So, I mean, you're basically calling it a pick'em.
Yeah.
All right, so 25-22 is the expected score.
Yeah, I mean, you could do 27-24 would get you there. I think 27-23 would get you there.
I'm going to go Bills, and Bills and under. I don't like the under, but I think that's the bet to do.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting a lot of faith in these defenses to stop someone. And while the Bills did stop the Jaguars, they haven't really stopped much else. If I remember right, I don't remember they stopped the Dolphins, but the Dolphins lost 2 halfway through the game. So
Tua took himself out of that game at that point.
Yeah. I mean,
let's be honest about what happened in that. That was a
that is a fair assessment of what happened. He Gus Ferrated himself into the wall that was DeMar Hamlin.
He yeeted himself at a safety in the middle of the field after he had gotten the first down. We can't. You don't get credit for that. I mean, you don't get the benefit of the doubt. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, Bills. Are you okay if I change it over? I'm gonna say over. I've talked myself out of it. Week. I am. I don't know. That's half of it. I'm like, I don't want to take the over on everything, but I also I don't like these over-unders.
I am seriously considering hedging this one.
Right. That's where I'm at. I was like, is this the one you're going to Scantron and they can't all be C. Or B hasn't been entered in a while. I don't know.
I once had an English teacher that made all the answers to a test B once.
Yeah. That's what I would do that kind of.
It took everyone about 2 minutes to realize what was happening, and we all just kind of looked up simultaneously, is this happening? And then we all figured out, oh, okay, yeah, this is planned. we're good.
I would do that kind of stuff if I was a teacher, just to mess with everyone. That, or like have it be like just an angle, A B C D C D C B A B A B C.
Yeah. Man, I just don't see either of these defense being able to do enough to slow these teams down. I don't know. The Ravens' offense has been kind of wonky. Has it not? Am I crazy?
The Ravens' defense,
Offense.
offense.
They've been good, but not like perfect.
Yeah, it's been a weird year for them. They went
They
toe to
keep
toe
blowing
with
leads.
Dallas and 28-25. I mean, like, by all accounts, they should be 3-0. They
Yeah,
lost barely to the Chiefs
Chiefs
in week 1, and then week 2 they played these
took
Raiders and lost.
their foot
And
off the gas. Really.
yeah, they stopped pressing, and who's to say?
Yeah. I'm really not sure where this game is going to go, so I'm going to pick Buffalo to win. But in the ultimate hedge, I'm going to pick the Ravens to cover. Just so I can get a point either way.
Can they win? If they you're just okay.
No.
Okay,
No,
I'm like
I'm doing this as a true
I'm getting
Vegas.
a point out of this some way.
I'm going to get money out of this somewhere. If the Ravens win by 2 points, I'm going to be real sad.
I was gonna say Baltimore's gonna win by a point, and now you are the gambling gods you've angered the gambling gods, and this is your penance.
I'm going to take the over.
Over. Okay.
Yeah, and then the last game pick we have is Seahawks at Lions. Lions are 3.5-point favorites. The over/under is 45.5. Where do we think the Lions are right now? They looked pretty good
Mourning
in
the
week 1
loss of Frank Ragnow since they have to put him down.
Yeah, it was an interesting comment. Last 2 weeks, their offense has kind of been pretty mid. Defense has got it done against the Cardinals. They held them to 13 points. That's pretty good for holding the Cardinals down.
Yes.
But Jared Goff looked like the Jared Goff that the Rams traded away against the Bucs. So I'm sure he's allowed to do that. I'm sure he's liable to do that once or twice a season. He's not perfect. But what do you think?
I think I'm gonna do the other the same thing where I did Lions to win, Seahawks to cover, and I'm gonna go under because I think the Seahawks have some offensive guys, but I mean to hold Arizona as well as they did in week 3, I think that's for the Lions to hold Arizona the way they did. I think that's a good notion heading forward, and yeah, I mean it 3.5. So you're looking at 42. Split that so 21 to 24. It's not a big number, but it's also I don't want to take all overs again, as I have stated. And this is a game that I could see. Lions scored 20 last week and held Arizona to 13. So I think they can win a 24-20 game and get real close to being over under on that one. Even 24-21 would still get you the under. So
yeah, I'm gonna go Detroit to win and cover. And I do kind of like the under now that we've kind of talked through it. Like the Seahawks have been doing a good job kind of just mucking games up and keeping them kind of low.
yes.
That's kind of what they have to do because they pretty much top out. Their offense pretty much tops out at like 27 points. So you can't really afford to get into a shootout if you're the Seahawks.
Yeah, if
So
you're pushing it, then that's how many are you really going to let DK Metcalf get away with? How are you going to let Jackson Smith and Jigba beat you? That kind of stuff. So
yeah, I mean, the most points they've scored so far this year was in Week 1 against Denver, and they scored 26, 23, and 24. So that's kind of their range. Okay. Now we are on to the Browns.
Woo!
The Browns of it all. You want to start with game pick, or do you want to start with props?
We can do props. We'll do props on game pick. That's what we usually do.
Okay. So I am avoiding the quarterback. Gardner Minshew passing yards over under 209.5.
I'm going to say under for two reasons. One, I think he may legitimately do under because I think the Cleveland defense has been susceptible to the run. I think that's what they want to do, I think, is try to establish the run. But also the weirdness of we could be making a quarterback change. Like if something happens and all of a sudden we're having to play against Aiden O'Connell, I win that bet. So like I said, it's a
Actually,
little bit of a hedge.
I think if it changes to Aiden O'Connell, we might just shift the total there. I don't
No,
know.
don't take my stuff. I think I truly I think if it happens, it's going to happen in the game. I don't think they're going to come out and say um he's starting pregame.
I
I
don't.
think that I
Yeah,
think
I
it's a
also
game.
don't
I
think
think
we'll
it
start
is
him.
a gamesmanship that Pierce is trying to do, and a riling up of Minshew. I just don't think it's going to be effective. So
Um, yeah, I mean, I think if it's under, it's either going to be your scenario or, I mean, more likely scenario is the most likely scenario is the Browns defense just being angry and not wanting to get torn up by Gardner Minshew for a second straight year like they did last year.
that's also fair. I forgot that they had played him in Indianapolis. So
Yeah, that was a different offense. That offense was better than what the Raiders have put out there so far. But it's. I think the defense is going to need to show some of its old stuff if people are going to have any faith in it going forward. We got Jerome Ford all-purpose yards over under 57.5.
I'm going to say over, despite the fact that he is questionable. Um, if he ends up missing the game, obviously, I think that will be a situation that I feel like we would just pull that one. But
Yeah, we just null it.
yeah. But if he does play, I think he's been playing well enough that I mean, that's a couple passes and one or two big runs, and he's got that total. So
Yeah, the over under for rushing was 41.5, and the over under for um, receiving was 16.5. So I just made it 57.5.
yeah. So yeah, I like that that number. I'm going to say over for Jerome Ford all purpose. Jerome Porpoise all Ford. I smell toast.
It's past your bedtime. Um,
It is.
I'm gonna go with over as well. They really just need more out of that. The running backs, if they're going to be anywhere near a more successful offense, they can't keep functioning on no production from the running backs. And you can't wait for Nick Chubb to get back and say, "Oh, we're going to have production now." You have to kind of figure out how you're going to do it. Amari Cooper receiving yards over under 51.5.
I think they keep it running. I think they I think last week showed that he's ready to be back. I guess is probably, I don't know, a weird way of saying it, but I think he's performing to this point, and 51's a really low number for Amari. And I mean, what he had that like in 2 drives last week, like
Roughly, yeah.
it feels like a low number, and that helps me want to take the over.
Yeah, I think the same Raiders defense, who also just lost one of its starting safeties and might be without starting cornerbacks this week, got torched by the old ass of Adam Thielen for a quarter and a half last week for about that many yards and a touchdown before he pulled his hamstring to the point where he needed to go on IR. So I'm going to go with over as well. I think they're going to need, if there's anywhere that can be reliable right now while they're looking for something else to be reliable, it can be Amari Cooper. So Devontae Adams, total receptions over under 4.5.
I think over. I think they're gonna try to do the Martin Emerson. Like Las Vegas will try to get him on Emerson, and then and do the Malik Neighbors thing where like it didn't work, so we're moving him, and now Ward's going to be his shadow.
Yeah. He's also averaging 6 receptions a game and has 27 and at 9 targets. So like they're looking for him regardless. Brock Bowers has 18 receptions on 21 targets. That's efficiency.
He's like, I think in fantasy, I think he's gonna end up being like a tight end 5.
I think I drafted him in like the 6th round or something, or the 9th round, like way down there, because they weren't sure who they were going to play, him or Myers or Mayer. Yeah, I'm going to go the over too, just because I think, what else are they going to do? Like Brock Bowers, potentially, but
I think you have JOK to deal with Bowers.
Yeah.
Between
Okay.
JOK and Delpit, so
we got our first double points of the year.
double point.
Brown's first touchdown score. Reach into your crystal ball.
The money pick would be the I'm sure the best odds are Jerome Ford. I am going to say Jerry Jeudy.
I'm gonna check this real quick, just to not because I want information. I actually didn't look at this earlier, so I'm curious now because you mentioned it. Anytime touchdown score, the best odds for the Browns is
First is Jerome Ford on DK on DraftKings.
Oh, okay.
Plus 800 for Jerome Ford. Amari is plus 850. Foreman is plus 850. Watson is plus 1,000. Akins and Jeudy. Akins is plus 1,100. Jeudy is plus 1,200.
Yeah.
That's the first touchdown score overall. So first Browns score would be, I don't know that bet exists in regular books, but
no, I'd probably not. I think I'll go with Cooper. He was the only one to score last week. I think they're going to try to get him open. He's super dangerous on the goal line, as we saw in that just disgusting slant route that he ran.
Yeah.
The corner had less than zero hope.
That was one of the best balls Watson's thrown in a Browns uniform.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, to the game pick. Are you positive, or are we still negative? I will say none of us have gotten a game pick right this year.
That feels right. I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna go Cleveland. Cleveland.
Over under
Cleveland.
36.5. I mean, my God.
Cleveland over. Yeah, it's such a low over under. Both these
I could see it
offenses
hitting though.
Both these offenses stink, but I think the defense. None of the defenses are really great either. So
Yeah. I don't know. I'll go Browns. Browns under. Hopefully, this is the week we get a game pick right for my own psyche.
let's do it.
We will get Matt's picks before
Sunday. Gosh darn
before
it!
the games start.
I'm not going to sit here and let you do this to me, Matthew.
Yeah, I thought about saying something, and I was just like, you know what? There's no money in this. It's not worth it.
No, it's not. But all right, well, that's going to do it for the BrownsCast this week. For myself, for Taylor, for Matt the Wizard, who is at his sister's bridal something.
Rehearsal dinner, I thought it was.
Rehearsal dinner, who knows? Get your picks in.
Absent.
Get your picks in, you jerk. Listen to this in the morning, get your picks in.
Let's not post anything in the Discord and just see if he listens this far.
I very much will. I want to see if we're gonna. I want to have a counter. Okay, over under. Is it gonna be before? I won't post this until 8:00 tomorrow. Over under. Well, it'll be on the site before at 8. 9:30. Earlier than 9:30 or after 9:30?
I think he sends his picks in at 10:15.
Okay, so I think it's going to be after 9:30 as well. So there we go. All right, for myself, for Wizard, for Taylor, for the BrownsCast, I say, go Browns.
Go Browns.
Go Browns.